Mr. Kuzic.
Present.
Mrs. Ferraro, absent. Mr. Giovanni.
Present.
Mr. Heckman.
Present.
Mr. Lott.
Here.
Mr. McGee.
Here.
Mr. Myers.
Here.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Here.
Mr. Zirinsky.
Here.
All present except for Peg, who's not present.
Okay. All right, so we're going to have approval of the minutes for the November 5th council meeting.
Motion.
Whoa, let me finish. And then we're going to do the October 28th budget hearing and the November 10th budget hearing. Can we do all those at once?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's why. Okay, now, let loose. Motion, Mr. Myers, second.
I'll second.
There you go. Zirinsky. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Good. All right, now we're going to go to confirmation of appointments and reappointments. Mr. McGee?
Thank you. Resolved by Northampton County Council that the following individuals shall be confirmed in their appointment and reappointment as indicated. Reappointments to Public Director, Lynn Stauffer, and term to expire December 31st, 2024. Farm Director, Brian Fulmer. Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board appointments, Kathleen Earhart, term to expire June 30th, 2022. Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, Andrew Elliott, term to expire 12/31/24. Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, elected officials, reappointment. Reappointment, Susan Lawless, Pamela Pearson, and Gerald Yob, term to expire December 31st, 2021. Mental Health Early Intervention and Developmental Programs Advisory Board, reappointments, Frank Palomgren. Thank you.
All right.
Term to expire January 23rd, 2024, and Penny Evans, term to expire November 19th, 2023. So moved.
Thank you. All right, discussion. Are any of the people mentioned here tonight? If you are, you'd like to stand up and be recognized. We appreciate everybody who volunteers on our board. All right, discussion.
There was a discussion at the committee meeting last night
Thank you.
as well.
All right, well then, let's call for the vote.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lott.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Thank you. Every now and then, council gets to do something that's actually popular and nice. And one of those is proclamation. And I believe Ms. Zirinsky has a proclamation to present. If you want to go down, or you want to do it, to say it here and then go down, it's up to you.
You can read it from the.
You can read it. I mean, yeah, only because you don't exist if you're not on the microphone. We've been told that.
I don't exist.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. People at home won't hear you. However you want to do it. Go down to that
It was
microphone.
hard down there.
Why don't you go down to that microphone?
Just
No, however, I just want to make sure you're mic'd. That's all.
No, on second thought.
I don't know. It's COVID. What do you want from me? It's 2020 and it's COVID. I'm doing the best I can.
That's on too, okay.
There you go.
Are you ready? Okay, we got this all sorted out now.
You
Okay.
go with it. It's yours.
So this is a proclamation to the Memorial Library of Nazareth and vicinity. Whereas each year, the Pennsylvania Library Association honors the service of their members, as well as community volunteers who go above and beyond the call of duty to support the work of libraries throughout the Commonwealth. Whereas the award is presented to a library that excels in service to its community, prioritizes staff development, and provides leadership in and support of the Pennsylvania Library Association. And whereas the Memorial Library of Nazareth and vicinity has shown remarkable resilience, innovation, perseverance, and optimism, and demonstrated that they are a centerpiece of learning and community advancement for all of Northampton County, providing residents with a resource to read books and periodicals, utilize e-services, gather information, and learn computer skills. Whereas, facing an uncertain financial future in 2019, library leadership embarked on a mission to coach local municipal officials about the benefits and essential role of the public library, including data-driven presentations, personal library tours, media campaigns, and other methods. And whereas the library made changes to staff, services, materials, and programs and encouraged the community to form a grassroots initiative to protect their long-term sustainability, skillfully conquering financial and maintenance charges until the 2020 pandemic began. And whereas, after the pandemic, the library was forced to reevaluate its service model, challenge an age-diverse staff to rely on technology to work remotely, and implemented services like calling regulars, delivering porch drop-offs, and participating in professional development opportunities, ultimately leading to a successful referendum securing $100,000 for the foreseeable future. Therefore, be it resolved that Northampton County Council further awards and recognizes the excellence of the Memorial Library of Nazareth and vicinity in staff and service to the community for their decades of extraordinary contribution to Northampton County. Thank you.
Say a few words?
Yeah, you can say a few words, we can take a photo, whatever order you want.
I'll just say a few words. Hi, my name is Holly Bennett. I am the director of the Memorial Library of Nazareth and vicinity. I'd just like to introduce who I brought with me this evening. Before I do that, the Memorial Library of Nazareth and vicinity is supported by 4 municipalities in Northampton County: Upper Nazareth Township, Lower Nazareth Township, Bushkill Township, and the Borough of Nazareth. It is because of these townships that we are able to be equipped and to best serve our community the way we do. This evening, I have Terry Seago. She is the Vice President of the Library Board, and she is a representative of Upper Nazareth Township. I'm honored to present to you Mayor Lance Calando of Nazareth Borough, and my wonderful librarian, Shelby Rozelle. She works with me in the trenches every day to serve our community. We are just so proud to be a part of this county and to continue to serve all those who need our help, whether it's with workforce development or to learn something new, to basic literacy, health literacy, financial literacy, technology literacy. And we're just so honored for this distinguished award. Thank you so very much.
More than welcome.
Thank you. Can we take a picture?
Take a picture,
Yeah.
take whatever you want.
Take the picture so it's like this, so you get the council behind you too?
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, you're very welcome. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Tara, and thank you to the library folks. It's glad to see libraries are still out there and working.
Yeah, I was very excited to present that award because libraries are so important. They're a free resource of information for textbooks, hardbound books that you can hold in your hand still, and they offer a resource for people in the entire community, regardless of your economic or socioeconomic level. So I think they're so very important, and I hope you continue to get funded. And I will do
Amen.
whatever I can.
All right, good. Thank you, folks. Courtesy of the floor. I have no one who signed up for courtesy of the floor. Is there anyone who would like to address council at this time under courtesy of the floor? Seeing no one, we will then move right on to the county executive report. I see, there it is.
Good evening. Perseverance and preservation have been what we have been about here since March. We're persevering through the worst times we've experienced in 100 years. And how are we doing that? Well, recently we're doing that by changing our masking policy in Northampton County. You now must have a mask on at all times, without exception, unless you're eating or on a smoke break. You must wear a mask, irrespective of you're within 6 feet of another person or not. We've arranged testing for county employees without symptoms at our testing collaboration, so that those employees, if they've been exposed or have traveled into a quarantined area, do not have to stay home for 14 days and lose all that time. We've actually liberalized our policy based on what Governor Wolf has done. We're persevering through this time. We're doing that because we want to prosper when we get out on the other side of this and we have a vaccination that will get us to return to some form of normality. And because we believe that part of our prosperity will be a sound taking off point for our small businesses, you have already put $8.5 million into 672 small businesses in Northampton County. You're about to put another $1.3 million into small businesses in Northampton County at a time when we are about to go into a few-month period, which is going to be very bleak for these small businesses. So this is a tremendous opportunity for us all. And I want to take a minute to, while we're talking about persevering and prospering, and while we are not out of the woods, generally or in specific at Graysdale, I want to talk a little bit about Graysdale, and I want to specifically praise Jennifer Stewart King, the administration, and all of the folks who work at Graysdale. And I want to do so because even during a global pandemic, my understanding from the state data is we have the largest census in the Commonwealth. We have more people living under our largest home under one roof than anyone else has right now in the Commonwealth. So we are persevering. That's what we're doing. We are living up, even in the middle of these horrible health times, living up to our moral obligation to our most vulnerable citizens. That's something I'm very proud of with respect to the people who work at Graysdale. This is an honor to them. We have dropped now these are totals, right, since the Department of Health started keeping track, to the 4th number of cases. So largest nursing home under one roof, we're dropped to having the 4th total number of cases. We've dropped, and let's be clear, no death goes unmourned by us, none, but we've dropped to the 5th most deaths in the Commonwealth, despite the fact that we have the largest census right now and the biggest home. And we've dropped to 15th with respect to the total number of staff infections. And that's with having one of the largest staffs in the Commonwealth. So all a credit to the administration and everyone who works at Graysdale, whether it's housekeeping, CNAs, LPNs, dietary, you name it. They all deserve credit for this progress in the middle of this pandemic. I'm talking about persevering and moving forward and doing our job. We just had an election, and the election went very well. It went very well, and that is a credit to the judges of elections. It is a credit to all the poll workers. It is a credit to our election staff. It is a credit to Ms. Cozy, Ms. Hess, and all the folks who work down there. And it is a credit to ES&S. You'll all recall what ES&S put us through by sending us Excels that had 2 human errors that occurred in their factory that caused us to have a very difficult 2017 general election. And you remember how we had to persevere through that. We had a flawless primary, which demonstrated that the Excel could work. And we just had a massive mail-in ballot election, along with having to deploy all of the Excels throughout the Commonwealth, or I'm sorry, throughout the county of Northampton. So it all went very well. There was no fraud, none, zero, despite what a few loose loonies might have to say about that. The fact of the matter is It was as clean and well-run an election as we've ever had. I credit ES&S. I want to specifically credit Brooke Johnson. Brooke's name is Johnson, right? Brooke Johnson. Brooke is from ES&S. I believe she has been here at least once. She worked the scanner both during the primary and the general election. So when we were the first in the Commonwealth to get our numbers out in the primary, a lot of that credit goes to Brooke Johnson from ES&S. And when we were done at 5 a.m., was it 5 a.m., Charles? 6 a.m. Wednesday, faster than everybody, because everybody in the world was watching the bellwether. Everybody in the world was watching the bellwether. We were done. We were accurate. We were fair. It was safe. It's secure. And they did a great job running this election. So that concludes my report tonight, but we're persevering and we're getting ready to prosper on the other end of this.
While he's there, we didn't have to run back and forth. Is there any
Oh.
questions for the executive?
Thank you. I do have a favor to ask. So, on Saturday, I was honored to attend an anniversary of the last cast from Bethlehem Steel. And they have presented Northampton County with this poster in commemoration of that. And if someone could make a motion during new business tonight to accept it, I'd greatly appreciate that so we could hang it up. And to show folks what can be made from casting iron, a commemorative medallion was made and presented to the county as well from the last cast. And I'd like if you could accept this as well so that we could display it for the public to have that. That concludes my report, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
One question, what about if a retiree would show up, a county retiree, and they can prove that, would they be able to get a test, or would that be an issue?
So anyone can get a test. If you don't have insurance, and you're a Northampton County resident, we will pay for it. But if they have their Blue Journey, they should present that card.
No, and I wanted to, you're right, they can go in, but I just wanted to see if you wanted a certain procedure in that, if you prefer.
No,
Okay.
no. If they're insured, they'll get a test.
Anybody else? I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now we're going to move on to old business. And first order of old business is a public hearing on the ordinance amending the 2020 Northampton County budget. Ms. Vargo Hefner and Ms. Zirinsky introduced the ordinance at the November 5th, 2020 meeting. Are there any questions or comments from the public at this time? Seeing none, discussion, council? Mr. Kusick.
I see the coroner's here. Did he have anything regarding his amendment that he wanted to mention? Yeah, I see the coroner's here. Did you have anything you wanted to mention? Because you're in for a budget amendment.
Not in particular, but I was also here for the grant.
Okay. Could you just tell us what the additional?
Steve told him we didn't have to.
Oh.
Just kidding, I'm kidding.
He's trying to lay low.
The Baronator's giving him instructions.
So, excuse me, the amendment is to cover the utilities for the building.
Just heat and electricity?
lights.
Is
Yeah,
that-
electricity,
And refrigeration, right?
which is electric, yeah.
That's a lot.
So, and, those costs, as we didn't have those costs ahead of time, so they had to be added in.
Okay, so this is something that'll be ongoing,
Yes.
and have you budgeted for it for next year?
I believe we did, yes.
Okay.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, I saw the $200,000, I saw you here, I thought maybe there was
yeah.
something extraordinary, and I know, it's, those coolers probably require a lot of energy, so thank you.
Yep. And then the only other reason why I was here is for the LSA grant, which will be addressed later.
All right.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this? This has been discussed at the Finance Committee meeting, and if there's no other, we'll have a vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Is there any other old business anyone on council would like to discuss? That's it for me on my agenda. If not, we're going to jump into new business. First order of new business is consideration of matters related to the 2021 Northampton County budget. A, introduction of the 2021 real estate tax millage rate ordinance. B, public hearing on the proposed 2021 county budget. C, public hearing on the proposed 2021 Northampton County Capital Improvements Plan. So, first, let's go to A, introduction of the 2021 real estate tax millage rate ordinance. Would someone please sponsor this
I would.
ordinance? Mr. McGee, second?
I will.
All right, I didn't even catch. Ms. Vargo Hefner, if I missed someone, I apologize. All right, the public hearing, debate, possible vote will be held at the December 3rd, 2020 meeting. B, public hearing on the proposed 2021 Northampton County budget. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll have the public hearing on the proposed 2021 Northampton County Capital Improvements Plan. Are there any questions or comments from the public on that?
I think John had one.
John?
This is on the capital improvements plan, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
At our last meeting, I raised the issue regarding the jail. And I think what troubled me is that Mr. Emili really didn't have a solid answer as to what was going on there. And he did mention something about matching a grant. So I did go to the state website, and under the RACP or RCAP grants, I did find this listed. Northampton County Prison, RHU, BHU renovations, Easton City, $1,473,250. And the description was, this project will renovate a portion of the prison currently uninhabitable due to structural deficiencies that pose a safety hazard. Renovating this area will provide 36 lower security units complying with current codes and standards. This project entails completely demolishing the existing cells and renovating the space as a new single-story unit with 9 shared cells capable of housing 4 inmates per cell. The renovation would also include necessary installation of security elements, a new bathroom, day room, structural reinforcements, HVAC equipment, fire protection, and corrections to existing interior finishes as needed. Now, somebody spent some time on this, and I think what troubled me was for Mr. Emili, and he's right there, really to not be able to provide us with the details. I think, before I can support that, I'd like to see some sort of presentation with regards to that specific request that's in the budget. And furthermore, I haven't really seen RCAP money be awarded for a jail. Now, if we get it, terrific, if the state's willing to give us the money. But usually those go to economic development projects, and this would be a stretch. But if we get the money, great. But I think that at the very least, we deserve a presentation and some detail before we approve. I think it was about a $1.5 million match to that grant application. Thank you.
All right, well, since you brought it up, I mean, not that there's a presentation right now, but Mr. Emili, you were mentioned. Would you like to respond in any way, or would anyone from the administration like to respond tonight? If not, we'll move on. I just wanted to give you the opportunity. based on what was
Sure.
said.
My apologies if I didn't make it clear during the budget hearing a couple weeks ago. The plan that we presented as part of the RCAP grant, it's the same plan that we had developed about a year or so ago for the RHU, BHU tiers that, I believe I had addressed it at the time with council in terms of what our intentions were. But if there are any further questions, I'd be happy to answer them again.
Yeah, well, then, just to follow up, I guess my question is, where did you come up with the estimate? Did that come from our engineer, or?
Yeah, the total construction estimate was from the architect on the project.
Okay, do we have a copy of that?
No, it was more of a, he had reached out to a contractor and it was just kind of a, back of the napkin type of estimate that he put together.
Oh, I think I'm being asked now to put $1.5 million in a budget for a back-of-the-napkin estimate, and that troubles me. And again, I think that at the very least, council deserves some sort of presentation before we approve that part of the budget. So that's all I'm asking.
Well, maybe
Thank you.
back of the napkin was a little, we do have design documents that are about 90% done. And the architect met with a contractor who performs this type of work, rather than just relying on, cost estimates from, as engineering companies typically do, that may not always be grounded in reality. They did check with the contractor who performs this work. So we do feel that $3 million total is, a fairly good estimate.
Okay, we have a couple of more. We have a budget amendment hearing, and we have a vote before the budget, or we have time before the budget. Would it be possible for council to at least get those documents and/or some sort of presentation from either the architect or the construction manager who threw that number out there?
And by the way, as you're coming up, Mr. McClure, then, since this became something, Mr. Myers had a question. Do you want to ask that now while Mr. McClure, before he starts? Maybe it's tied into this.
Yeah, I was under the impression after we had the meeting on the capital project that we were going to have a meeting and some sort of presentation at that point. I thought that was already discussed at the last meeting.
That's what I recalled.
Yes.
I also recall and you may not have, I don't know if Councilman Myers was here yet, but I also recall when that presentation was made. But yes, I recall that you said we were going to do that.
Yeah, I'm still under the impression that's supposed to be done. Am I wrong by that?
Well, no.
I was waiting for Mike to make arrangements with me to have a meeting on
Yeah,
that.
and you're the chair of that committee, and it was publicly discussed between you and Mr. Amelia that would happen. So it's a little surprising to me tonight that we're talking about having been in the dark about this, but there you go.
So I guess it's a matter of you calling the meeting or him. I think the I certainly don't have to interpret anything from the executive. It's sort of question why it's up to council's committee to call a meeting.
Yes, I was under the impression I was waiting for Mike to get back to Linda, myself, and let us know when he was planning on scheduling that.
Okay.
If we can get that ironed out tomorrow so we can get that done?
He'll
Does
get
that
to
work
you.
out?
Yep, absolutely.
I think that will end all that discussion.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no,
Mr.
and
Kuzic.
that's fine by me. Like I said, my discovery was seeing this grant application description that I don't think we were aware of, that had occurred. So thank you, and I look forward to the meeting.
Last time we were together, I think back and forth, he had raised that issue, and I was under the impression that was supposed to happen as soon as possible.
Mr. Myers, I will not be having my Human Services meeting that evening, so if you need that time and space for your meeting, it's available.
Linda, can we schedule that for that time?
And that's prior to our
You want
meeting
that
where we would vote.
live?
When her meeting was scheduled, she's not going to have her, so I'll put myself in that spot. That work for you?
All right, so just so we're all on the same page here, communication-wise. Ms. Zumbo, what are we talking about?
We're going to have a capital projects and operation committee meeting on December 3rd at 5 p.m. to discuss the jail.
Great.
Thank you.
Now, I was going to wait till the end, but we may, not sure yet, but we may end up virtually meeting in December. Take my cue from the virus, not from news agencies. So we'll see. I mean, you know, but I don't mean news agencies. Obviously, that's how you get it. Talking heads sometimes. The virus right now is in control in some ways. We're just trying to deal with it. But anyway, maybe we won't, but we'll see how it is. We just have to play it by ear, as the executive said. We're doing the best we can, be persistent. All right, so that is the third, 5 p.m., capital projects, and hopefully Mr. Kusick will get an answer to his questions. Okay. No problem. Thank you, Ms. Vargo-Hefner, being so accommodating. Okay, next, let's go to, is that it for you, Mr. Kusick? For now. For now.
We
That's the
reserve
best
the
I
right
can
to
hope
speak
for,
up
right?
later.
Okay, all right, anyway. So that was the capital improvements. Now we're going to move on to consideration of personnel request resolutions, Department of Human Services, Graysdale, Public Defender's Office. First, we'll have the Department of Human Services, Graysdale, Mr. McGee.
Yes, thank you. Resolved by Northampton County Council that one full-time position of informatics compliance nurse, pay grade CS 27-1A, salary of $58,994 shall be created in the Department of Human Services, Graysdale, effective this 19th day of November 2020. It is further resolved by Northampton County Council that one full-time position of medical records administrator, pay grade. Okay, I just want to make sure this, okay, you want me to read them both because they're both on the same page?
Go ahead.
Okay. Pay grade CS 26-1A, salary of $56,341 shall be created in the Department of Human Services, Graysdale, effective this 19th day of November. They're both on the same page. So moved. We talked about it last night, and they were very informative. They came up to the mic and explained the positions as they have done in the past.
Thank you. Discussion.
Yeah, just real quick, certainly these are necessary positions, but we're voting on the budget in 2 weeks, and the new year is in 6 weeks. I see no reason why these couldn't have waited or have been part of the budget process. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Ms. Zirinsky?
Zirinsky.
Zirinsky?
Oh, I thought, no, forget. Anyway, wasn't it discussed at the meeting yesterday that this money is in the budget for these two positions? And the reason why they are asking for them earlier is so that they could advertise them prior to January?
I think that was
Yeah,
part of the
they mentioned that.
explanation.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I heard that right, because I was on the phone. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other discussion? If not, we're going to call for the vote.
Mr. McGee,
Yes.
Mr. Lot,
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
All right, next we have the Public Defender's Office, Mr. McGee.
Resolved by Northampton County Council that one part-time position of Assistant Public Defender, pay grade RS 6-1A, salary of $25,775 shall be created in the Office of the Public Defender, effective this 19th day of November 2020. So moved.
Thank you. Discussion?
Just point of order.
Yes, Mr. Myers.
Just so I'm clear on this, and I did hear it's correct. This is to take over. This person is going to do just
Yes.
that position. That woman that was doing it before is now going to be relieved to do other responsibilities inside public
Well,
defender.
actually,
The short answer, I believe, was yes, but
Yes.
we'll discuss it. Mr. McGee, did you want to add something?
well, the committee meeting last night, that was mentioned and discussed and explained, and it was, the work this work here was being contracted out, and they're going to create their own in-house person that's actually going to improve, I think, communications. It was very clearly presented last night.
And the savings of was $50,000.
There was a lot of savings, plus the timing is important, as mentioned.
By Mr. The Baronator.
The timing was important because of COVID and the work from home now, and the expenses and the travel is not, so that's very helpful as well.
Okay, yeah. Any other, did you want to?
Yeah, just to add to that, when I was watching the video, I became immediately concerned when I saw a cut, we were gonna save 50,000, because right away that means we're gonna cut services to the client. But I was very happy to hear that, after listening, and understanding what the public defender was doing, we are actually improving services and saving money at the same time. Hopefully this all works. I think it's awesome that we are improving services and saving the taxpayers' money. So I just, very concerning at first, but I think it was a great discussion yesterday. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion on this position? If not, let's call for the vote.
Mr. McGee,
Yes,
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Great. All right. Next, we have consideration of the collective bargaining unit extended agreement between the County of Northampton and AFSCME District Council 88, Local 1265 Resolution. Mr. McGee, would you introduce this?
yes. Now therefore, it hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the collective bargaining unit agreements between Northampton County, Pennsylvania, and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employee District Council 88, representing the residual non-professional unit, the court-related non-professional unit, the court-appointed non-professional unit, and the youth detention center unit shall be extended as per terms exhibited on attachment A and approved on this 19th day of November.
Thank you.
So moved.
Thank you. Discussion. It was discussed.
It was at committee meeting. The folks from ASME were here. They came up and presented, and they were very happy. They said their groups were very happy.
And you have the attachment that summarizes what happened. So if that's all the discussion we have, let's call for the vote.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have consideration of a memorandum of understanding between the Northampton County Conservation District and the County of Northampton. Ms. Zirinsky, would you introduce the resolution?
Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council that the attached memorandum of understanding, referred to Exhibit A, between the County of Northampton and the Northampton County Conservation District is approved. Further, President of County Council is hereby authorized and empowered to execute the attached memorandum of understanding on behalf of the Northampton County Council. So moved.
All right, thank you. Discussion.
I
Anybody have
believe we
anything you
discussed
want to
this
say
at
or ask?
the EELU meeting. We discussed this at the EELU meeting.
All right, well, if there's no further discussion, then let's call for the vote.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Consideration of a resolution approving application for an acceptance of funds through the local share account, Monroe County. Ms. Fargo Hefner, would you introduce the resolution?
Now therefore be it resolved, the County of Northampton hereby requests a Monroe County LSA program grant in the amount of $120,772 from the CFA to be used for the purchase of a mobile X-ray system and related software to be utilized by the Coroner's Office located in the Northampton County Forensic Center, 300 Gracedale Avenue, Upper Nazareth Township, Pennsylvania. Be it further resolved that the Council of Northampton County does hereby designate the county executive to execute all documents and agreements between the county and CFA to facilitate and assist in obtaining the requested grant.
Thank you. Now, I believe this is what Mr. Lysick referenced earlier when he said he's here. So any discussion, and he is here if you have a question for him specifically.
Yeah,
Mr. Kuzic.
Don't we have this now, and why not, and what will this be used for?
Thank you. So no, we do not currently have this. because we don't have a facility, except for the new one, we currently utilize hospital services, which is very challenging at times because of trying to juggle deceased victims and matriculate them in with people who are alive and getting x-rayed. That's one of many, many reasons why over the years we wanted to address this issue, both by building a facility. So radiology plays a key role in what we do in documenting everything on the body. And we have worked on one grant which was previously granted to us for a 16-slice CAT scan. And that is in the process. I've spoke with that vendor, and that should be in before the end of this year, the way it looks. This is the second component of the radiology section. So it's a portable x-ray machine. That's utilized in many different ways in helping us to identify unidentified victims through surgical implants. You know, it helps with identifying injury, also bullet paths, if there are fragments of metallic fragments from stab wounds, you know, from broken knives and so forth. So it's used in many, many different ways as part of what we do. And, you know, we currently utilize radiology, but we're doing it in the hospital facility. CAT scans are done in the hospital facility. You know, right now, not to tie this COVID-19 into it, but that becomes a key component too in identifying whether or not a person, what role COVID played in their death by doing an X-ray or a CAT scan of their lungs. So there are many, many different avenues and areas that it can be used, and it's a very important component of this.
Thank you, excellent.
As long as he's standing there, are there any other questions for Mr. Lysick? Oh, go ahead, Mr. Myers.
I have a question. Is there anything else on the future plate that you might be looking at for your new building that we might have forgotten?
So I don't think there's anything that we necessarily forgot. There are additional things that I suspect that we're going to work toward in the future. But, you know, in the conversations I had with the county executive, one of the things that I think is very important, we were going to continue to go after grant money to build on what we already have. You know, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there for us to capitalize on obtaining grants for some of this. And my goal, along with, and I don't mean to speak for you, sir, but in the conversations I had, is we really want to bring this county, you know, to date and have a cutting-edge technology facility, which we have. It's a beautiful facility. Each of you had the opportunity to walk through it. So, but we have to do this in steps. And, you know, some of these advances that we're doing, it's not necessarily like just turning on a light switch and it happens. We're trying to progress, and I think to do it the proper way, we have to do it in steps. And that's the approach that I've taken, and I hope that's acceptable to the county executive and council.
Just a follow-up question.
Yes, sir.
With the things that you're going to be getting and progressing, and they will be useful to other people as far as like the DA, could you have, because there's things that you will be getting that will help him, to help him in solving cases,
Yes.
where we won't need to go outsourcing what he's doing presently in the future. Not only right now, because I'm sure there's a lot of things you're going to need.
Yes, there are many different components to what both of us do. There are some areas of overlap, but there are a lot of different areas as well, sir. So I think I don't think it would be fair for me to make a blanket statement that will cover everything. It honestly won't. But my goal, and it has been for the last 28 years I've been here, was to do a very thorough, complete death investigation and make sure that we utilize the most modern technology that's available. And we have done that. And I think when we we, as the coroner's office, are involved in the prosecution of very serious crimes. We will do everything we can to make sure, obviously, that there's no room for any error. So that can be accomplished in a lot of different areas. So I think it would not be accurate for me to just make a blanket statement, sir. With all due respect, I would really have to take each component and address it separately.
I thank you. I got to get out to this building. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, and I think in
Go ahead,
fairness to Mr. Lysick, there may be some questions that we'd have to refer to the DA, because I know he doesn't want to get up and make a statement that something will happen or not happen, because he doesn't control what the DA decides he's going to do or not do. So I want to, and for the benefit of Mr. Lysick, I don't want him to be put on the spot to maybe answer. Not that your question has a problem, I just want to be clear, he does what he can, but he can't control who uses his facility for what purposes in some ways.
That is correct, sir. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lott.
Well, hearing that statement, we invested a lot of money in that forensic center. We want to get the most return out of that forensic center we can for our taxpayers. We want to get we want to do as much stuff in-house, because generally we save money in-house opposed to subbing out. And maybe this is for the administration, maybe it's for you, but I would hope that there's coordination between the DA's office, the administration, and the coroner's office, and make sure we're going to get the most out of that forensic center we can. I do not want to be paying for something we can do in that forensic center. I realize it takes time to develop this, but I hope those conversations are ongoing. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I don't want Zach to sit down. I have to get up again. Is there anything else for Zach?
No, I'm just wondering if there,
Don't forget, use your mic, people.
I'm sorry, I'll lean over. Along that vein, are there communication between you and the DA, or have there been meetings to talk about what aspects we could begin to do, maybe even within the next year, or?
So the vast majority of the conversations with the district attorney's office were with District Attorney Morganelli when he was the district attorney. The first assistant district attorney, Hauk, who was his chief deputy or first assistant, I did have conversations with him. Since he's become the district attorney, early on I had spoke to him about these different issues, about what we're doing and what we're planning for the new forensic facility. I think there are a lot more conversations that need to occur, and I certainly will do that, and I'll reach out to our district attorney, who does a superb job, and certainly reach out and work together in any way we possibly can.
I want to ask a question, but I'm afraid I know the answer. Is there anything that you could foresee us being able to start to build or do in the forensic nature within the next year?
With all due respect, I'm so sorry. If it's the digital forensic component, the phones, certainly that's what we're working toward. It's something that we're going to build on. I don't mean this in any way as an excuse. We put in an ungodly amount of hours, and our office is incredibly busy. So I have got to maintain my everyday workload, and we'll continue to work toward that, and we are. And I will work toward accomplishing that aspect of it as quickly as possible. As we talked, that there's certainly will be a position that we will want to look at for that down the road. So I think we have to get in there and continue to grow and develop and put everything together. And I will work with the district attorney and any other agency as best as possible.
Sure, and please, my intention is not to be grilling in any way. I think, I can't speak for everybody else, but I just know that I want to support this effort as much as possible. I think a lot of people up here feel the same way. And, I just would love to see as much as we can do in-house going forward and using this facility to its fullest potential. So that's my motive, nothing more than that.
Thank you.
Fairness to Mr. Lysick, aren't you thrilled you showed up tonight?
He's missing dinner, I'm so sorry.
No, I think, and I want to say this on behalf of Zach. Mr. Lysick has put forth what he wanted in the building and what he'd like to see possibly happen. But I think we all have to remember that Zach, in his capacity, cannot force somebody to use certain facilities, particularly an independently elected official. So I don't want to put him in the position of promising something that he has no control over executing. But, I mean, I'm glad to hear that you see a lot of potential going forward, and hopefully everybody will get together and recognize whatever potential there is. But
And I assure you that I will do everything that I can to work with any agency that is interested in working together.
thank you. Is there any other questions for Mr. Lysick, or can he go back and relax?
Yes, have dinner.
All right, thank you, Zach. I
Thank you.
think that was it. All right, well, let's see, where did we leave off here?
To vote.
To vote. Any further discussion? If not, let's call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Consideration of a resolution approving the allocation of funds to the Greater Lehigh Valley United Way for the Mask Up Lehigh Valley campaign. Ms. Fargo Hefner, would you introduce this, please?
Now therefore be it resolved by Council of the County of Northampton that the allocation of COVID-19 county relief block grant totaling $6,000 is approved, that the county executive of the County of Northampton is authorized to execute any and all necessary grant agreements with the Greater Lehigh Valley United Way. This is for their Mask Up campaign, public information campaign.
All right, and that was discussed, I believe.
Yesterday.
Right? Yes. Any discussion on this? If not, call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee. Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. All right, next we have consideration of a resolution approving the allocation of CARES Act funding for small business grants. Ms. Fargo Hefner?
Whereas Northampton County was awarded an allocation of 27 million, do I have to read all that? Where can I start?
Now therefore.
Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the County of Northampton that the Director of Fiscal Affairs is authorized to issue checks and the approved amounts to the approved businesses. We're approving $1,300,000 to be distributed to a number of small businesses to be determined after the application process.
All right, no, that's,
I read it backwards, I apologize.
no, that's okay. All right, is there any discussion on this?
Just a reminder that the intention behind this being done without the list of people is to get it out, to designate the amount, get it out, and then they'll come back with us with the list for approval after, so that we can hand out this money before the end of the year, as discussed yesterday.
And the point of order of that is, that's being advertised as of tomorrow.
I believe I saw the press release go out today. The press release for this went out today, correct? For what? For the small businesses?
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
it is? That's what I thought. All right.
Mr. Lott, I believe you had a question.
I think the link will be live tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Fargo Hefner kind of answered my question. Is the process the same as the prior grants on this?
Yes,
So the chamber's going to handle it?
yes.
But we're just going to bypass the council being at those meetings? Or are we going to do it the same way we've done it in the past?
That's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, that.
Well,
You can
if want.
insert yourself in the process.
For me,
I want clarification, that's all I want.
yeah,
One way or
I've
the
had a
other.
discussion with Mr. Barron. I didn't feel the need for me, because they said they're using exactly the same process, and you've seen, I've saw it, and if he's being truthful, which I take that he is, if that is exactly the same process used, and with the same criteria, I'm fine with it. But we do have the right to go over and get involved, yes, if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Barron, you're using the same criteria that we used before.
What was the term you used yesterday?
Come up,
I think you
people are
said the
upset with
same
that microphone.
process or the same footprint, or you used a term yesterday?
We are using the exact same blueprint.
Blueprint, blueprint.
Oh, hey, Steve, you
There's a
moved too
print
quick.
somewhere.
This isn't a football field.
Yeah.
You're not chasing down a fullback. All right, go ahead.
So, the chamber, not that I'm all that concerned, but how, are we still paying them a percentage on this money, or are they doing this, they're just doing it for us?
They're just doing it
I mean,
for us.
last time they did it for us pretty much for free, because they turned around and gave the money back on Main Street, so they threw the money, it was awesome, because all the money actually went right back to businesses. So they're gonna do the same thing here.
I am told.
They're not getting anything to even give back, so it's just helping us out. Okay, thank you, Mr. Barron, for
I
that
am
answer.
told we're a joy to work with.
All right,
And they're gonna get it before the holidays.
all right. All right, so you've heard we're a joy to work with. Any other questions, any discussion on this? If not, let's have the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Consideration of a resolution approving the allocation of remaining CARES Act money to Northampton County pandemic efforts. Mrs. Fargo Hefner, you again?
Now therefore be it resolved that Northampton County Council does authorize the Northampton County Executive to spend the remaining approximately $1.9 million on UV building cleaning robots, portable video conferencing equipment, virtual classroom, so the employees can continue their licensing, education, and training remotely, dividers for the gym at the jail to promote activity among inmates while remaining socially distant, small UV boxes to clean and sanitize mobile devices and items that are used by multiple people, and other UV and traditional cleaning devices and supplies to clean and sanitize county buildings to make them safe for the public and employees.
Thank you.
Mr. Barron presented us with the list of spending,
Yeah,
I
you all
believe.
received tonight the list of where it's going. And
Killer robot spending list.
we had a very colorful presentation yesterday. So is there any discussion on this?
What are Poidal accessories?
I'm sorry, what?
Next to last thing. It says I don't even understand that word. Is that a typo?
It's potential, it's a misspelling.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, all right.
I'm like, what the heck is that?
Sit down, Mr. Barron, it's okay. All right, so is there any further discussion? If not, call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
All right, thank you. Next, we're going to have consideration of the 2020 contingency account transfer to purchase a license for Adobe Acrobat Pro Resolution. Ms. Fargo Hefner, would you?
Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council that the sum of $398.47 shall be transferred from the 2020 contingency account to purchase an Adobe Acrobat Pro license for use by county council staff.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Consideration of a 2020 contingency account transfer to purchase a Zoom license resolution. Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council that the sum of $139.10 shall be transferred from the 2020 contingency account to purchase a Zoom software license for use by county council and staff.
Thank you. Discussion. This was all discussed yesterday, but if anybody has anything. All right, call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes,
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
thank you. Next, we have consideration of Article 13, contract resolutions, the APCO International, Next Level Administrators, and Remedy Senior Care. First, we'll do the APCO International. Ms. Fargo Hefner, would you introduce the resolution?
Whereas on November 13th, 2020, Northampton County Council received a request from the county executive for county council to adopt a resolution approving a contract in the amount of $263,791.61 with APCO International for a term of 3 years for protocol guide card system for emergency medical, fire, and police incidents. Now therefore be it resolved that Northampton County Council does hereby concur with the recommendation of the executive and set forth in the attached documentation to approve a contract with APCO International.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I think a reminder that this is grant money, that this is for the Northeast Terrorism Task Force, so that we will be reimbursed for this money, correct? I thought that's what he said yesterday.
I think we have, is that Mr. Dertinger moving this way?
It is.
All right.
Am I incorrect in that, or did I misunderstand that?
No, this is for training, and this is paid for in the 83% money that we get from the state.
So I had the wrong fund, but we are getting reimbursed for it.
It is money that we get from the state, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? If not, let's call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. McGee. Yes. Mr. Myers.
Yep.
Ms. Zirinsky. Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. Ms. Fargo Hefner, Next Level Administrators.
Whereas on November 13th, Northampton County Council received a request from the county executive for county council to adopt a resolution approving a contract in the amount of $548,995.01 for 5-year contract term plus 22% of any savings resulting from medical bill review services with the Next Level Administrators for Workers' Compensation Claims Administration Services. Now therefore be it resolved that the Northampton County Council does hereby concur with the recommendation of the county executive as set forth in the attached documentation to approve a contract with Next Level Administrators.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Very good. Next, Remedy Senior Care. Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Whereas on November 13th, Northampton County Council received a request from the county executive for county council to adopt a resolution approving a contract with Remedy Senior Care with the actual amount of the award being based on the quantities and types of medications dispensed along with the requested consulting services. Current expenditures for 2020 is $720,000 for pharmacy services for the residents of Graysdale Nursing Home. Now therefore be it resolved that Northampton County Council does hereby concur with the recommendation of the executive as set forth in the attached documentation to approve a contract with Remedy Senior Care.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky. Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion that we accept the gifts from the Steel that were presented to the county executive. Is there somebody who will
Second.
We said, we all.
That's why I made the motion, because I wanted to be sure I know who made the motion. And whoever you've got first out of all that, that's the second.
What,
Mr.
Dave?
Lot.
Kevin?
Mr. Lot was second.
Mr. Lot, very good. All right, so any discussion on this? Seeing none, call for the vote.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky. Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you very much. Is there any other new business that a council member would like to discuss tonight? Seeing none, I just want a reminder again that we did make a committee meeting for for Thursday. And I mean, not next Thursday, but
Next Thursday, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And
I was going to announce that I'm canceling human services, but
you can't, all right. So, and also though, just to remind and say again, and I'll make sure we get plenty of notice because we'd have to do it publicly. I don't know what the future holds as far as virtual meetings go. I mean, again, what I clumsily said earlier is the virus is sort of making a lot of the terms of what we do and don't do. So we'll see. I don't want anybody to get sick. That's my main concern.
Can I
Yes.
ask a question?
Yes,
Because I
go
know
ahead.
that generally in December, we try not to do any committee meetings after the second meeting, the second week in December. But do we have time that day if we need to do a finance committee, if there's anything that comes up on
I would
that
say,
Thursday?
you mean that the second meeting, which would be what?
Thursday, December 10th, because, I'm not going to I'm not going to wait and set a meeting after the last council
No,
meeting of the
I would
year.
say this, if there's a need, yes, that's when you should do it. I mean, if there's a specific need and you see that you should have a finance committee meeting, fine.
If you would indulge us and advertise one?
I was going to say, we need to
No,
have
that- I
time
was-
to advertise.
This is part of my spiel. If you do that, then if she should know, and that's why I say, she's got to know so we can publicly advertise any meeting we
Well,
want to do.
that's why I'm bringing it up now, because I don't want to wait till the first week in December, and I just assume that these things are going to come in
All right,
and that we're going to address
Do
the
you feel
budget.
you need to have one tonight? I mean, let's clarify it.
There may be a need to have one.
All right, hold on, everybody. Hold on.
We are scheduling an economic development meeting, committee meeting, in case, and this is what I worked with Tina on, in case we're having no business, but we're gonna schedule one, in case that CARES Act from the state is released, that extra money. Now, does that happen or not? So I don't know what else comes up, but we did kind of address this, and I just wanted to put that out there. I mean, I don't know what else would pop up besides that CARES money, but the idea, I mean, I'll cancel economic development if we want to have another committee
No.
to cover that.
Hold on.
But
We have
the reason
separate
we're
One
functions,
person at a
Kevin.
time, please. Go ahead.
The reason we scheduled that was just for the case you're talking about, in case something popped up.
If you could agree, and I have no piece of this, but if you could agree jurisdictionally, the potential issue that I'm thinking of could be handled in any committee.
I agree.
If you're not jealous of the particular.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
why I wanted to bring it up, because it was discussed. Now, I'm willing to back off mine, if you want to do
No.
yours, but I don't want to schedule two of them for the same subject, is why I
No,
wanted to
I
jump in
don't.
here.
I
Thank you.
just-
There may be one or two significant loose ends that we need to tie up, so a committee meeting might be necessary.
Can I just ask?
Go ahead, Ms. Zambo.
Now, are we talking about the first meeting in December or the second meeting in December?
As late as
Second.
possible.
The second meeting in December? Okay, because then I'll need to know the Tuesday before that so we can get the ad in the paper for the Saturday before the meeting.
I
So-
hope to know whether the particular issue I'm thinking of will be done in time to tell you that.
Okay.
All right. Here's what I would like you to do is, by tomorrow, Ms. Vargo Hefner and Mr. Lott can decide which one wants to run the meeting. And, and then let's just schedule a meeting, and whoever's meeting it is.
Why don't we decide right now? Why don't we do it on the 10th? That seems like the better date than the 3rd.
Well, let's, yeah.
And we can do it under finance. That's
All
fine.
right.
But I just want to, no?
No. The only thing I just got to say is our 10th meeting is at 4:30. So you got to figure out when you want to schedule this meeting.
Oh,
or do you
no, we're
wanna-
not doing the 9th.
Well, all right, let's hold on. Let's pull it all in.
That's the day of
All right,
vote.
we're
We're not
talking
doing-
about the 10th, and the last meeting of the month is scheduled, as she said, last meeting of the year, for 4:30. Now, if you want, or if you wish, if this is not going to take a lot of time, we could say, let's make a
3:30.
finance committee meeting for 3:30. Is there any reason, in your crystal ball, do you see anything that would, from your end, that would take longer than 45 minutes?
No.
you see
3:30 on the
anything?
10th.
Therefore, I'd like to say, let's make it for 3:30 on December the 10th, a finance /
could put it together.
Put it together.
That's fine. I just want to be clear.
I just want to make sure that if you get any kind of money coming from any other entity, that you need our approval, that we're available to approve that.
And I
That's
I
my,
think the 10th was Mr. Barron's plan.
that's
right.
all I'm looking at.
And 10th,
Yeah, the meeting's the 10th.
Okay.
And the other issue that I'm thinking of,
guys,
the other issue that I'm thinking of will be ripe if it's going to be for this year on the 10th.
all right, thank you.
I'll have it done.
And one reason we have our meetings so early, and Mr. Kusin knows this, is in the month is because, let's say he was preparing a 25% tax increase, and till we went through the budget or something there, we may not resolve it by the second meeting, and that we need X amount of time before the end of the year to pass a budget. So that is traditionally why you have the first meeting, the second meeting. So theoretically, council's never shut down. I mean, we could have a meeting, but that is why the timeframes are the way they are. You have holidays, Christmas, in the year of COVID, I don't know what that means, but bottom line is, yes, I mean, if an emergency, I just want everybody to know, if for some reason, some big emergency came up after the 10th, we are prepared, if necessary, to deal with it.
Yes.
But as far as business goes, I think we would try, and I think we can resolve it by the 10th.
Yes,
No, okay?
it will
I
be
just wanna make
resolved.
sure we were all listening.
Yeah, and just as a point of history, at one point, the budget meetings would take 3, 4, 5 hours. So what happened was this meeting was moved up from 6:30 to 4:30 to accommodate a potentially very long budget meeting. Now, fortunately, over the last few years, it hasn't been necessary to do that. But going years back, Mr. Heckman can attest, there were 3, 4 hour budget meetings at the end, especially when a tax increase was being
And the
considered.
charter specifies, I think, 15 years before the end of the year, we have to.
That's why we don't do those.
Yeah, so I
We don't
mean,
do
It's
those.
got to be done by the 15th.
so if there's a snag on the 10th, we have time to reconvene, and as I said, I don't think this budget's going to create that problem, but there certainly have been budgets where there have been heated discussions in the back and in the front, and in the back and in the front, and everywhere to get it passed on time.
So are we starting our regular
Meeting
council
at
meeting?
4:30.
At 4:30 on the 3rd as well?
No,
That's at
the
6:30.
10th is a special day.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so, thank you, Mr. Executive. Does anyone else have any new business for the good of the order, or I think we're all buttoned up on this topic? And
No.
if that's it, then, just again, the virtuality, all of this may happen virtually, but I want to make sure, and Linda will know, and we'll just have to handle that. I did report, and I want to say that we did a test, and the test actually worked well. We're going to do another test that I want Mr. Giovanni to be involved in. And we're going to, if we're in good shape, who knows? All right. Now, any other new business? All right, that's good. County Council Committee reports. Anybody want to give a committee report? Mr. Lott, go right ahead.
Real quick on the prison, as a liaison to the prison, pretty much the focus down at the prison is unfortunately the pandemic. Things are pretty much shut down, locked down again. I mean, they started letting a little bit more happen at the prison, but it really, the focus of those meetings is on what we can't do for, in the prison anymore, quite frankly. But, it's all going well down there. We're holding out, knock on wood, it's, good numbers down there. So whatever they're doing to keep it out, Prime Care and the, administration, it's, we're doing very good down at the jail. But that's the whole focus of all the meetings. Thank you.
Mr. Lott, thank you. I mean, I think that's important. We always have to remember that because we do focus on Graysdale, and rightfully so. But we have a prison, we have a juvenile detention center. So these are 24/7 operations where anything, and in the past, things have happened, and we have to thank everybody who's involved in all the operations. Any other committee reports?
Just,
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr.
President,
Kusick.
just a request for the prison board, when the capital projects meeting is held, if we could reach out and invite the members, I think that'd be a good idea.
I don't have an objection. If anybody has an objection, I'd let
And
Ms.
one last thing I wanted to add with the
I'll go ahead
prison,
and
they,
make sure they
they
get
see
that.
no,
I mean, this.
you know, they were hoping to start thinking about work release again, you know, with the spike, that's out the window now, so,
No, I think, yeah, we're all, yeah, I mean, we're all, sounds like a broken record. I'm old enough to have records. But the thing is, we're all at the mercy of the COVID to a certain degree. It's just the way it is. And certainly we don't want boards to get together. It's unnecessary at the moment. But we'll extend an invitation virtually or live to the folks if they want to come. That's up to them. And all right, so committee reports. Ms. Zirinsky, I
So
thought you did.
The Energy, Environment, and Land Use Committee met today. We discussed the Conservation District's MOU with the county that was voted on at this meeting. We also discussed the Karst Geology Group that's new. It's met twice already, and we are coming up with some solutions. We're hoping, at least the stakeholders are coming to the table to mitigate the issue with not only the karst geology, but the dewatering events that are happening at the Bushkill Creek.
Very good, thank you. Any other committee reports? Any council liaison reports? Ms. Virgo Hefner.
The GPA met on the 10th of this month and voted to pursue litigation with Krieger as a result of our inability to settle a contract for the remaining 8 bridges. So I believe it's a request of $6.5 million plus cost. I'm looking for Mr. Dertinger. Did I get that right? 6.2, 6.3. We've done everything we can. We've hired a special lawyer. We've gone through mediation. We can't budge. So this was made necessary. Other than that, I think the bridge project itself is back on track. Obviously, there won't be as much happening at this point in the year, but I'm hoping that we could settle this, get some more money back to the county to finish some of these other bridges.
Thank you. And an FYI to council members, I found out, and I got it through the office. If anybody wants it, I guess they can copy it and send it out to you. The Lehigh Valley Live did a story on the lawsuit that the General Purpose Authority has filed. So you can read that, and it seemed like it was pretty straightforward. But anyway, Mr. Giovanni.
Yeah, IT met this month in November. As you know, we're already getting ready for Zoom. We're going to do some more testing for that. Mr. Heckman has already tested it. The Clarity solution is launched by 11/9, so we're going to be working on that and be testing that in December. And then the normal upgrades, refresh of the IT stuff, so everything else is
Thank you.
smooth.
We appreciate that. It's today's day and age, that's very important. We gotta make sure we're all IT savvy.
Right.
Any other liaisons? Going once, going twice. All right, council clerk's report.
Okay, budget amendments were due today. I have received nothing, so if you have them, please get them to me as soon as possible. The other thing is, we have a budget amendment hearing on December 1st, Tuesday, at 4:30 to discuss these amendments.
And if you have any questions on that or issues, please give Linda a call tomorrow and get it straightened out, okay? Very good. Huh?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I know.
made
I
us
know,
feel
that's
bad.
why
I was like, I thought we
people are
had an
freaking
extra
out.
24
Yeah,
hours, Lynn.
Call her tomorrow, yeah, well, COVID.
That's like the
Say COVID.
teacher saying,
That's all you
get
have
it-
to
get
do.
it
Just say
in, right?
COVID. All right, so just call her, touch base, be sure, you know, that you get in hold of her if you have something you want to do. All right, is that it for you? Is that it for you, Ms. Zembo? Okay. Mr. Spadoni, do you have a report? No. Okay.
Make one up.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah, motion to
Mr.
adjourn.
Giovanni, second. Ms. Zirinsky, the corners came in. Okay, thank you, one and all. Hey, Mr. Barron,
Baron, that's thank you.
are you on a game this weekend?
No, I am not.
You don't? I'm gonna miss
That's all right.
Tom gave me that to give you.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
By the way, I've got like 100 copies of this.